Hello everyone, my name is Notepad Anon, and I just realized yeah, there we go. Hello everyone, my name is Notepad Anon, and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Well, today we're going to be working on whatever the fuck this thing's name is, because he's never given me a name. Yeah, I love not getting names. Harem game? Always harem game. There has been some significant changes. There has been some significant updates. I sat in a Discord call with a bunch of shit posters, and together we sat around and we devved. So what were you guys talking about in chat? We were working on the first project. I decided to do 2 streams today, technically. The first stream was in the Discord, and that stream was me working on Eat the Path, which is almost done, by the way. Eat the Path is like 95% done. I just need to fix up some things with it, and it'll be good to go. As for... how are you doing, Notepad? I am doing decent. Not great, decent. As for today's stream, we're going to be working on this finally. I don't think this stream will be very long, man says to himself, damn well knowing he's lying. But the goal today is we want to get everything set up for this game. Did the commissioner get back to you? Yes, the commissioner did get back to me. We talked a little bit about how things are going to look. We talked about how things are going to be. I am relatively confident in this. I say in the broadest terms available, relatively confident. I will explain everything in a minute. As for this week, I'm just going to tell you everyone about this now. This week, we're just going to do one video. It's going to be the Saga of TSR, which that's going to be tonight. Tonight's video is like, not tonight's video, but this week's video on Friday. We are working on the harem anime game. Yes, we are Purple Robed Wizard. Yeah, I'm just kind of going over what the week's going to look like a little bit, because tomorrow we will play some more Vidya games, because my goal is to get a big video done this week, so don't expect any videos till Friday. I just kind of want to give people an understanding of that. Oh, God. Ugh. But yes. Big week this week. Big week. I like big weeks. But yes, generally speaking, we did some, give you an idea, we had some schizo notes going on here. Some big schizo notes. Then I had, hello phone, then I had I guess you would call it a revelation. I guess you would call it a partial revelation. Partial schizo meltdown. I think that would also qualify pretty well. Also, I'd like to thank Retainer Cyan, or however you choose to pronounce it, for following. Thank you very much. We are at 248. So, I'm going to start from the top and attempt to explain things the best I can. Base system is going to be still 2d6 plus mods. Have no fear, we're not changing the core system. Why are we not changing the core system? Shit works. Okay? Okay. Shit works. Don't fix what isn't broken. However, this is going to lead to our stats. Physical, mental, technical, and emotional. Name's not final, but they work. These are going to be our core stats, which are going to be informed by our race, or pretty much our ancestry, or however I choose to word it. As you can kind of see here, we've already somewhat established some of these. Here's a human, here's a demon, here's an angel, here's a vampire, animal girls, monster girls, all this bullshit. Right here. Those are our stats. From there, we're going to go to our initial skills, our basic skill set and our chosen skill sets. Now, our basic skills are actually going to come from our class. Our classes are going to give us a variety of different skills that we can draw upon. For example, samurai. You may be saying, well, here's a samurai. This is what they do. This is how they do things. So if we go over here a little bit, A Ghost Samurai is going to have Physical 0, Mental 5, Technical 2, Emotional 5, and they're not really going to be good samurai, but they're going to have really high Bushido. What does Bushido do? It's a skill that does whatever you need it to do. What does a Vampire Samurai look like? What does an Alien Samurai look like? All of them are going to be a little different. Your class is also going to give you your abilities. This is being kind of an example. We're just going to be using pretty much whatever the level is. So if you choose Ijutsu 2, you're going to have +2 to all of your initiative roll. Easy enough to understand. Basic classes. Not really going to have that many classes. There's going to be enough. Each of the skills corresponds to an attribute. Correct. At its core, for example, our Vampire Samurai needs to make a ranged check. They're going to take 2d6 +2 from their technical and +2 to their ranged. So for a +4, 2d6 +4, they're going to roll. They rolled a 6 and a 3. That is a 9 + 4. That is 13. Most of everything is going to be opposed rolls. There's going to be, I'm going to pretty much call them flat checks versus, it's going to be flat versus opposed. Most flat checks are going to be versus 10. Do you beat 10? The answer is yes, you succeed. If the answer is no, you fail. Cool. Easy enough to understand. Now, you may be wondering, well, isn't that pretty easy to succeed? Well, yeah, that's somewhat of the point, especially when you have things like Alien Samurai with an etiquette of +2. They suddenly need to roll pretty high on 2d6. Most things are going to be opposed, so it's going to be my range versus your dodge. Roll, you roll. Cool, you've rolled a lot better than me, you succeed. What if you don't have a skill, though? Then you just take your base attribute, which is going to make me a lot harder. Wait, we are the MCs and the girls are surrounding characters' Pokemon. Absolutely not. You are going to be playing every character now. Because he changed that again. Basic premise is simple. You are just character in wacky anime hijinks thing. The basic premise is you are in one of these kinds of shows, but you are not explicitly in one at the same time. You are just a dude doing things. You are a person. If you all want to play just normal guys going on crazy adventures, you totally can. If you want to play something more dramatic, you totally can. It's going to be very light and very adaptable. That's the plan as of right now. Adaptability is kind of the key facet here. Didn't we say that one would be God, boss? God, the RP is going to turn you into a schizo. Isekai said, we got a manly, have no fear. We've got Golden Tiger Ball. Isekai-san. Yes. Effectively, we are going to be heavy adaptability. Some of the things we need to effectively do today is we need to kind of flesh this out to a point where it's in a better place. Pretty much, you're always going to have your basic skills. I'm looking at about 4 basic skills. Being a warrior means you will always have melee. You will always have it. Nothing you can do will ever not let you have it. But if you want, it's like, hey, this is what you're going to be playing. You're going to be playing a samurai, for example. Because you are a samurai, you have melee 4, Bushido 4, range 2, etiquette 2. You're going to get a few points or a few skills that are outside of your class that you can kind of choose elsewhere. Because if you kind of notice, samurai doesn't really have any ability to defend themselves very well outside of their melee or range, which may not be most beneficial to them. They may want to pick something up like that. They may want to pick up something that doesn't have them kill things, because that's kind of the point. Now, probably this is going to be from a very set list, or it's going to be kind of chosen. I don't know yet. But these classes are going to give you abilities. So I need to keep the class list relatively small. Let's see. So few minutes late. What's the idea here? Herd Isekai. This is originally the battle harem role-playing game. It quickly escalated into the just anime role-playing game. That is, it's just wacky. It's wacky bad OVA Tenchi Muyo RPG. Any idea what the health system is? Yes, I do know what the health system is going to be. If I go up here, where did it go? Right here. We're going to be using this system. Effectively, your clothing is going to dictate your initial overhealth. This is going to both represent your armor as well as everything else. Your armor will break, then you're going to start taking actual literal damage. In the best ways of looking at things, you're going to be able to take a lot of damage and replace that damage a lot easier. And when you do start taking those like actual wounds, you're going to start suffering a lot more from them. But we shouldn't reach that point. It also allows clothing to do something a little bit more than that. So you may want to take a piece of clothing that doesn't maybe offer as much health, but maybe grants you a bonus in other things. Actually, samurai were historically archers first and swordsmen second until they became obsolete. We're going with anime samurai, thank you very much. Very different, Sterner. We are not being historical here. We are anime samurai, hence why they have a Bushido randomly. It's just whatever Bushido does. So yeah, pretty much health system is going to be over health, under health. Probably under health will be something like wounds. If we really want to be specific, we could probably put in some TBZ, like TBZ health. There, that wouldn't be entirely remiss to the kind of the genre, if that makes sense. Effectively, with TBZ health, it would be like you'd have like zero wounds, which is, you know, +0, and you like minor wounds, which gets you just a flat +1, a +1D to your things. You know, you have major wounds, it's 2D, you know, serious wounds, you know, +3D kind of thing. We can probably fuck around and see how we want to do things. If anything, we can just do a flat bonus. Like 2, 4, 6, like you're just taking a pretty big bonus by taking more and more wounds. The issue being you're taking more and more wounds and you're getting closer and closer to death. Battle Brothers, low rolling great axe strips off a bandana and leaves the head untouched. Yep. Well, the Riona in my sad pet. I mean, what do you mean? Don't talk about that. Damn it, Spartan. Oh, you become awesomer when you take damage? Yeah, effectively in TBZ. In TBZ, what occurs is... We'll just do TBZ. Everything actually said. Yeah, and effectively Tenra Bancho 0. When you take a wound, you're actually getting more dice. And if you take serious wounds, well, you're getting more dice. And if you're at deadly wounds, if you're at the deadly wound, you're getting more dice. There's just one problem with being at deadly wounds. When you do finally hit that zero, that kind of like 0 HP, that 0 HP state, you're dead. At serious wounds, you're just gonna get KO'd, but you're bleeding out effectively. Even light wounds, you know, like light wounds, if you choose to go down, if you reach 0 HP, you're just going to go out. You've just kind of capitulated out, you know, out of more, you know, exhaustion than anything. Hence, I think using something similar to that might be something similar to that might not be the worst idea. Was there ever a reason to not take serious wound first and start using your vitality to tank in TBZ? Usually the issue with that, if you choose to do that, what happens is people can then directly target your vitality a lot more, or they can start targeting your other wounds more. Because if you ever end up taking a second wound, you start having to apply that to other places, especially with the big vitality attacks. And like, it's one of those things, like, if something can hurt you at that stage, it's going to hurt you. Because you may say, well, I'm broke as shit. The thing is, saying I'm broke as shit is usually quickly followed by they're also probably broke as shit. This also doesn't help with your Aki chips at all. Because the thing is, you gotta always remember in TBZ, TBZ isn't about getting shanked, and shanked and dying. It's about going fucking bananas and dying. And if you're doing that, you're gonna go bananas pretty quick. Well, it is anime as all hell. TBZ, yeah, actually, TBZ is one where you're combat in a speed track, or am I thinking of the ninja game? You're thinking of the ninja game, and it's not by the Ryutama guy. Very different. Very different way. I always use the Suicide Robot TBZ. No, it is not. Fuck, what's his name? I want to say it's Ryoko, but I know it's not Ryoko. Where are you? Where are you, my good friend? Like, half of my Twitter now is just Japanese. Like, I hate to break it to everybody. Yeah, Okada Atsushiro. This is Okada. Okada really has only written, mind you. He has only written Ryutama. Vice President of LLC Flowland. I don't know what this is. Probably. Yeah. Okada is, Okada's a really interesting duck. I don't see him post all that often, but when he does, it's like, hey, this is really cool. I really like, he loves tabletop games. Like, this is an important thing. Okada fucking loves tabletop games. And he wants to make sure everybody else enjoys tabletop games. What are you doing, Ryu? Ryu, what are you doing? Okay. Like, Ryu now. No, Shinobigami. You know any Japanese? No, I do not. Was that hentai? No, it was not. Ryutama, TBZ, and Shinobigami were all had the same author. Absolutely not. They are 3 completely different authors. Ryutama is Atsushiro. Tenra Bansho Zero. Let me see if I can remember his fucking name. What is your fucking name? I know he has a weird name, and nobody ever fucking Junichi Ino. That's it, Junichi Ino. Shinobigami. Shinobigami writer. We don't put this guy. Toshiro Kawashima. Very different beings, generally speaking. Katakawa, I think what you probably got fucked up with is Katakawa Heavy Industries have published all of them. Katakawa has published all of them, but Katakawa didn't write them. Different people have written the game. Katakawa just translated. That's a very important facet as well, translated. So what's left that's important? We just need to hammer out some things. Let's see, Shinobigami is weird in many ways. Shinobigami is fascinating because if you understand Shinobigami and like why it was made, and like why the Japanese love shit like that, it makes a lot more sense. So what's left that's important? Generally speaking, I need to hammer out these. These are our current classes. As you can kind of see here, these are our, I guess you could call it, basic example classes. The fighter, the wizard, the cleric, the rogue, the hunter, the battle maid, the hero, and sexy fighter. Don't ask, I don't have a good name for it. One of the other big ideas that I want to kind of get out here and like, I don't know how I want to do it, is the concept of a link. Links. Because they say, oh, well, romance is important. Romance and all the shit over here. We need to have a system where characters can have relationships with other characters and relationships with one another. So, instead of being strictly romantic, We are instead going to tie it to, we're going to kind of tie it to more of a, I wouldn't say platonic, but kind of a more generalized look at things. Shinobagami is big because it makes, yeah. If you want to be, yes, they make fan-fucking-tastic replays, and replays make a shit ton of money. Honest to God, like, I've been wanting to do, what I want to do really badly is I would love to make a video, or like do a presentation at least, about pretty much just divergent evolution in the tabletop sphere, with using Japan and the US as an example, pretty much the West and, you know, the East. I think that would be kind of an interesting way of looking at things. Links in Persona way or in Fire Emblem way. Well, funny you mentioned that, Hamara. I don't have an idea yet. I know what they are called, and I know what the plan is. Do I know anything else? No. I am besides depth. Somewhat. I think it's kind of the idea that in Persona, the actual social links directly impact not only the main character, but the character that you are influencing, especially if they're your party members. They get their ultimate persona, they're getting bigger bonuses, but you're getting bonuses out of it. Links on, like, Fire Emblem, on the other hand, is a lot more between, how do I want to word it? Two characters can link with one another, and they're going to do better besides themselves. So you always want to pair them up next to each other. It's kind of like they benefit by being with one another versus anything else. So it's like, hey, it's a lot more active, if that makes sense. Like, if we have these two characters together, we're going to have a better time. If we don't have them together, we're not going to have a good time. So it's kind of like, how active do I want it? Which does bring up its own series of complications, but that's why we're here. So, generally speaking, I kind of want to play it into this idea over here. So, effectively, we have the hero and the sexy fighter. I have no idea what else to call it. So, let me explain a little bit. Can you do, like, sort of semi-active Link? Honestly, I want to explain this a little bit. Pretty much what I want to happen is that every character can have a certain number of links. And having links is good. And you can't have that many, relatively speaking, because what I want links to do... What's the better name for around the turn of the century? Victorian pulp? I got turn of the century, like 1800 to 1900? Pulp. Usually, we're going from like 1700 for... Not good. But effectively, there's two options how I kind of see these. Either links directly, like pretty much links directly give you skills of the person you're linked with. You know, gives you the skills of the person you're linked with / abilities, or links give you a raw bonus, to certain skills or abilities. Effective, and it's kind of like one of those things like, if you are the hero, you can support a lot more links, and those links are going to go a lot farther for you because you're the hero. Because you are the hero and you have a connection to the hunter, you're going to be able to get some of their skills. Because you are linked to the rogue, you're going to get some of their skills, and they're going to let you do more with those. The sexy fighter, on the other hand, or whatever I want to call them, they don't have a name yet, I just need to give them, they're using their links more in a combative way. Like, they want to pretty much use them in more hostile, if that makes sense. Like, they're getting a raw combat bonus to just beat the shit out of people with the power of friendship. The hero wants to use it to make himself a better person overall. Effectively, I fight for my friends versus like I'm working together with my friends, and together we can solve the problem. It's the hero is more supporty. The best way to think about it is like the hero is more supporty. The sexy fighter is more aggro. The sexy fighter says, I'm gonna kill you using the power of friendship. The hero is like, don't worry everyone, we're working together to do things. Yeah. The Englishman, the cowboy, the pirate, and his samurai historical party meme. Oh. That has a lot of different things, and it's not entirely accurate, but hey. Yeah, that... I don't really know what you would call it. Turn of the centuries, you can just call it, you can kind of call it pulp, and it works. So blue mage, but social thing. Yeah, that's not... Natsu versus Kazuma. Am I looking at? Yeah, it's Natsu. I think it... Having a fucking... Oh, it's from Fairy Tail. I don't know Fairy Tail very well. Sorry. Versus Kazuma. Kazuma, please. Yeah, effectively, good old Kazuma there. Like, one of the things is we're going to be kind of using the, fuck, what, I'm having a stroke, send help. Brain is mush currently. We're going to be using the Octopath Traveler method. So, if you want to make Sato, like Sato Kazuma, what you're going to probably end up doing is you're going to be doing a rogue hero. You're going to be using those links to do a lot more efficient stuff, but he also has a lot of skills to do things with. That's his gimmick. But Aqua herself is almost entirely cleric. She just has pure cleric abilities. That's all she does. What's Mega mean? Well, what's Mega mean? She's just a wizard. She just has explosive magic. That's her entire fucking thing. But it's like, if you're looking at kind of like other characters, you can assign them to various classes. Link Barbarian or Link Brawler. Again, I don't have a good name for it. Literal power of friendship plot points 90% of the time in Fairy Tail. Yeah, never got into Fairy Tail. Yeah, you can't call it a Link fighter because you already have that. It'll confuse people. Exactly. That's why it kind of got turned into sexy fighter, because I just didn't have a good idea for it. But yeah, like my initial idea was like links give you skills. So let's say, for example, our rogue is connected to Librarian Girl NPC. They have a link together. They're good friends. And because the rogue has a link to the Librarian Girl, he gets a +2, like, knowledge checks. Anytime he's using knowledge stuff, he can rely on his link with Librarian Girl. Now you may be wondering, that seems like everyone would just want to be friends with Librarian Girl. What I was probably end up going to do is kind of the, links are personal, if that makes sense. Like, some people can really only be connected to, like, one person. The rogue cannot form a link with somebody else if Librarian Girl is already with, Fighterman. If they've already got a link with each other, rogue cannot link with her. But that feels a little awkward in its own way. They kind of give everybody, like, their own little, like, here's your pool of friends. If anything, what we can do... I really... Screw copyright. So people are gonna beat each other up for women? Well, this is originally a harem anime RPG, so maybe. That does apply. But again, we're kind of working off of kind of working off any. There is also the option of like splitting links up. We can kind of do like skill links, like personal links, maybe like battle links, question mark. Like these guys are like purposefully in like quote in a fight with you, or they're like contributing to the fight. Some people give you like more like story beats. I don't fucking know. I'm like, these guys give you purposely skills. I don't fucking know. I'm like kind of maybe have a rule that NPCs can only have like a max of 2 links to keep it clean. Yeah, I mean, question, are the players going to be managed party, or we went with option 3. Sterner, welcome to option 3, where everyone's just fuck you, haha, hee hee, hoo hoo, fuck you. You're this entire idea up here is pretty like the original concept was scrapped. The second concept of like everyone's now part of the harem, that got scrapped. We had to start back over a 3rd time. Hence why we are now here. This is literally option fucking 3. To give you some of the, like, give you just the idea of like the struggle bus we were on. This is now 3. Yeah. Yo, version 3. It's literally just friendship bullshit if we want to. Isn't that wholly unmanageable via genetic example? I know. Well, the thing is, we're working with anime logic. That's kind of the thing I'm kind of relying on. Hence why I'm like, what I'm thinking of is that people themselves can only manage a certain number of links. That it's up to the player to manage their links rather than like an NPC having 0 fucking, like only, like every NPC can only have certain number of links. It's up to the player to have certain number of links, which is the value of like the hero, for example. Like everyone's can have like 5 links. You can go 5 links, you know, you can go 5 links into Librarian Girl to get a +5 to something, which is pretty fucking good. However, you can only spend maybe 2 links on her and get, you know, Librarian Girl get you something. Or maybe we can kind of do more like art, where you can only establish 5 relationships and get those bonuses. You can only get X amount of relationships, but sometimes you may want to sunset some. Like, that's what I was kind of thinking. Like, even down to the fact of like, you may want to sunset a link. Not necessarily like, oh, sorry, like, you just aren't beneficial to me anymore, go away. But kind of like, you know what, yeah, you're still friends, but they're not really contributing to you as much anymore. It's a, we're best friends for an arc kind of thing. Because we're best friends for this arc, you're very important. Now you don't matter. Goodbye. Like, you're still there, they're still a character, and we can still establish links with them later. But Sunset, dang, Nope, I became a Destiny player. What, have you never heard the term sunset a relationship or sunset something? Maybe that should be a bit limited. It's effectively, that's going to be, it's kind of the thing, like, if you, it shouldn't be going from max link to 0 link. The idea there is, if you're doing something like that, like if you're doing, the goal would probably be like that wouldn't happen as much, or if it does happen, there's an issue that you have to manage. Like, there's a problem. It's kind of the idea of like, let's say for example, we've got Example Man, and he's got 3 links. We've got Librarian Girl at 2. We've got, you know, Best Friend Hero Man at 3, and we've got Guild Leader 1. Librarian Girl is giving him +2k and like a +2 knowledge. Best Friend Hero Man is, oh god, didn't hit that button, is giving him like a skill, like a kind of giving him an ability bonus. Guild Leader is giving him like +1 to like money or something, like +1 money. he could say, hey, I'm going to sunset this because it just isn't as valuable to me, and I want to establish a new link with somebody else. I don't want to, like, get rid of these other relationships as much. It's kind of like redundant relationships that as a player, you're like, this is no longer really contributing to me as a player, or like they haven't shown up. I don't really want to like interact with these people as much because they're just not. It's pretty much like, I have a link with my sister because my sister's a very important character to me and I want to interact with them more. And it's like, cool. And that should be a signal for the GM to be like, I want to interact with her more. Let's bring her in more. She's had more problems to deal with that you're now having to deal with. But what does she contribute? What does the sister contribute? Well, she gives you a +2 to this skill. She's an NPC. She gives you +2 to this skill. Hey, you have a link with a player. You can use one of their abilities. Cool. This is what you're kind of doing here. Yeah, it's kind of like one of those things where you ever have like a game where you just have like kind of like an ability you took early on and you're looking at it like, I don't use this at all. And like, I thought it was going to be useful, then it's not really useful, and like, no one's really bringing it up for a long time. So it's like, okay, let's just kind of kick it. Upgrades are becoming permanent or freeze up a link slot. I don't know yet. If we're going down, if I were to be doing this way that I would want to. The trait I picked up for my Warlock at level 5. Like, if I were to be doing this, you know, kind of in my own way, is if you pretty much nurture a link, if you like nurture a link to a certain point, you end up with like kind of more of like a permanent one. Like, maybe you reduce the effect, but it frees up a link slot. Like, hey, librarian girl, you've gotten up to 10. You know, it's like you've spent a lot of time with them. They really like you. You really like them. They're a great friend. You like having them around. They've become a permanent link. Because they're a permanent link, she doesn't contribute as much immediately, but now you have a free link slot to do stuff with. Yeah, that you're kind of seeing the idea there, Purple Robed Wizard. Purple, you're seeing it. The problem is, what do they do? Like, yeah, links and bonds. The link is permanent. Link and Bright and bonds are permanent. I would say, like, at a certain point, like, you can just turn a link into a bond. You can't improve a bond really anymore, but you've got something out of it. Like, you can always nurture more links. Links are finite, but you kind of have bond with everyone, and that's gonna be one of the ways you kind of level up. You're building up friendships. You're building up all that bullshit. The power of friendship unites us. Yeah, it's like, if I'm doing this, I mean, if we can do something like, let's say like an NPC link. What does an NPC link give us? NPC links give us plus like a skill bonus. Like, we get just a skill bonus by having them as a link. I am friends with you, I get something. Maybe they can also give us support, like more of like a story support. Or every second level, some passives, some actives, maybe max levels, so you can summon this NPC for one attack. I don't want to go fully on the persona route because we're already going to be dealing with a lot of skills. Like, that's one thing that's already going to be happening. We're already going to be dealing with a lot of skills. I don't want to be like, it's persona. I don't want to do it's just persona. Bonds again. Go for the XCOM 2 thing where 3 levels of bond gives you new abilities. Skill gets you a bonus to a skill you already have. Or it can be a new one. It would be a new one. It would pretty much be a skill tied to that person. So you can be dumb as a brick, but because you know Librarian Girl, you get something there. Like, skill bonus. Maybe a trait bonus? Maybe like an attribute bonus or something similar to that. Like, because you've done something, like, because you are, like, good friends with this person, you get something for it. How did Crisis Core do memory resonances again? You can ask her. The skill will get you a bonus to a skill you already have. Yeah, okay, no. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of the idea of like, hey, by virtue of us being friends, I'm a little smarter. By virtue of me, harboring this relationship as something important, I'm getting smarter. Hey, I'm a fucking moron. Library Girl has taught me how to read. Like, change it, maybe just tiny changes to active skills. If active skills are the way I want them to be, it's going to be things like this. And I'm suspecting that each of these will have about 9, maybe up to 12. I don't know, like, what's going to be actively available, but there's going to be quite a few different... Each one of these needs a certain number of skills to make them feel very impactful. Maybe since maybe we restrict like a level cap or something and you only get a certain number, maybe we do something like that, who knows. Notepad, I'm gonna rip my eyes off skull. I've been trying to make a combat system by fighting TTRPG the past month. I'm getting this unending list just because I don't want to use dice. It's great. Welcome to the mess. It's amazing. Yeah, so I don't want to touch active skills as much with this. That's why I'm a little bit hesitant to do that. You kind of get the idea. Our classes feature lockbind NPC links. Wizard can cast analysis only if he's friends with librarian. See, that feels weird though, because what's going to happen? Like, what I'm trying to avoid is that people are like, I just want to build a link with this character because they have the thing that I want to make sure that I can play my class right. It's like, not like, oh, I don't want to get this because this character is neat. It's, hey, I want to get this solely because I can't do my class features properly. Yeah, without them. That's why I'm a little bit like, I mean, if anything, what we can do is we can just do services. Hey, you are yeah, hey, you're friends with the fucking merchant in town. Yeah, he's gonna give you he's not gonna give you any skill bonuses, but you get a discount on all his shit. Yeah, we're best friends. Of course, you're gonna get a discount on everything I do. Cool. Hey, I'm the guy who knows things. I'm the guy who knows things around town. Hey, we're best friends, so what do you need, bro? What do you need, buddy? Hey, man, what do you need? I'm your best friend. I'm the guy who knows things. Even down to, like, I have a car. Hey, everybody, you're a bunch of high school students, and I'm an adult with a car. Hey, I'm the person with a car. I guess NPC links can do that. Like, you get skill bonuses, you get services, like... Because if we can do that, it'd be like, we don't directly have a wizard on us, but we're good friends with a wizard, and we can ask her for help. Because we're good friends with the wizard, we can ask her for help, and we can do that. And then we can kind of do like, hey, we want to befriend the wizard who can help us out with something. Hey, we want to befriend the smart kid because he can help us pass our test. Hey, we want to do this for this. Okay. What else would an NPC... crafting shopping options? Yeah, services kind of fall into that, I would say. Like, crafting shopping options. It's generally like, you are friends with someone who can help you out to do something. You're getting something cheaper. You're being able to just get access to something. It's like, yeah, you're just someone who has something. The skill bonus will probably be like the cheapest, the easiest one. I mean, if we're doing like, maybe we do something like ability sharing. combat advantage, combat bonus. Like maybe you get a combat bonus for being next to one another. Like, yeah, we are, like, yeah, we have a higher link with one another. I'm good friends with you, you're good friends with me. Chain attacks, honestly, that would not be remiss to add something like a chain attack. Like, it's like, hey, you have this, you can pop this effectively. I need to look into Xenoblade a little bit more. That might not be, may not be entirely remiss. I guess that kind of plays into, if we remove this class and we just do, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If we do something like this, I don't know. Don't know about. I'll think on that. I guess we can also do like rival links. Rival links will give you purely like combat bonuses versus rival. Maybe you can use like a bonus. I don't know. Yeah, so it's kind of like, hey, you have a rival bonus versus this person. Just like, hey, you hate this person, they hate you. You're just in fucking rivalry with one another. Why? Because we just dislike one another. I support the XCOM thing. If you have two souls with a bond, you get the ability to have them share action points with a sync shot with both of them shoot out a target. Being next to each other gives bonus aim and will, makes them immune to mental effects. Double cross territory then? Honestly, double cross wouldn't be totally remiss. I don't think we're gonna go full like lowest tier because Loises do a lot more. Loises do a lot more than what I'm planning on with the links. Because Loises also reduce your infection rate and a bunch of stuff like that, but you're on the right wavelength here, so. If we want to do something like that, maybe, maybe if we get something, you can do a mid-combat recovery action. Like, you just fucking hate this person so much, you can recover your own HP. Like, maybe once a combat. Hey, you have a 5 link with this person. Just recover some fucking health. Like, yeah, no, it's just like, I just really want to hurt. I just fucking hate. I just want, like, I think, like, again, it's everyone screaming at one another and doing Kamehamehas. I just want to beat your fucking face in. But yeah, maybe something like, I don't plan on having anything like an infection mechanic. But, let's... I guess this could work. This isn't perfect, and we may not do it one-to-one like this, but at least it's something to work with. Maybe like PC links, you get 3 plus whatever your level is. Actually, we can probably do 2 plus whatever your level is. So you, like level 1 PCs, your starting level PC is going to have 3. Then you're going to go to 4, then you're going to go to 5. You're going, as you increase in power, you're going to be able to get more links to get more things. How do you get levels? Probably. Isn't this the 3rd stream? Unfucking fortunately. Finish the to give you an idea, we had the original idea. That got sunsetted for the 2nd idea, which got sunsetted for the 3rd idea. Because this is, it's such a simple premise, but it's so complex to put together. Nobody gets to kill you but me. Yeah, probably something like that. Kind of like, I'm not gonna go down until you do. Or even just downright like, Did you ask Commissioner to get a better idea? Yes, we talked it out. We kind of worked on things. Once we finally kind of got an idea of like what he wanted, one thing, just the way he worded it was poor. I love you to death, my brother, but you worded it very poorly. One of the main reasons I say that I think I got a little bit of mixed signals from him in general, simply because of this. If you open up, this is the basic document, the basic series, like wiki to draw inspiration from, DXD, Strike the Blood, Data Live, all of these are very harem focused. So it's like, and then he's like harem, harem, harem. So that initial idea we spent good time on was perfect for what he was saying in that document. That makes sense. What he had originally stated was correct. That wasn't what he was looking for, however. That's kind of one of the issues. He wasn't actually looking for that. He was actually looking for another thing. But then it was like, that's not quite right. So it's like, I've effectively retooled everything to just make it an anime system. At its core, this is an anime hijinks game. At its perfect core. So, actually, what? Okay, I'm not a huge fan of this, but maybe like some Benny chips. Not a huge fan of that, but I mean, it wouldn't be the worst idea I've ever done. So if we're doing, if each class is going to give us our initial skills, maybe how are we going to do spells? How are we going to do spells? If we're choosing to keep this open, maybe you choose a focus, like, I'm getting a phone call. Give me one moment. Hello, Kalukale. Yes, you are correct, Draco. It's not necessarily like an anime high school BS. It's just kind of a vaguely anime TM. It's a very certain kind of anime of a very certain kind of genre of stuff happens to people to do things. That seems a very vague way of approaching it, but that would be the best way to kind of word it. Things occur because people do things. Spells. How do we want to do? Pretty much, if we want to do, what do fighters? I mean, I guess we could call these like brawler. Like, what is a brawler? Brawlers, Mm. Mm. Built for combat and beating crap out of people. Wizards and clerics cast spells. What do spells do? What are spells? What is a spell? Brawlers have advantage. The thing is, brawlers aren't necessarily brawlers as in like exactly what they are. They're just characters who they are characters who do things by fighting. They express themselves by punching someone in the face. The entire concept being, do you want to play Kazuma Kiryu in this game? If you want to play Kazuma Kiryu, you are in fact playing a brawler. Because how does Kazuma Kiryu solve problems? Punching it in the face. If you want to play Ichiban, you're going to instead play a hero, because he's going to use his links to do more things in life. I think of Akira and Mob 1. It's not the thing. I'm using the term wizard because it's not necessarily modern. It's not necessarily fantasy. It's in a very odd place currently. I do have a setting in mind, and the setting is effectively, hey, there's a school at the border of everything, you go to it. Or you're in a town pretty much on the border of the world. And because you're on a town at the border of the world, there's a bunch of shit that goes there. It's odd how this system sounds mildly generic. Because it is. Yeah, because it really is. Because he was like, I want to do Senran Kagura. I want to do Neptunia. I want to do that one other booba fucking ninja thing. I'm like, you want to do all of that in addition to harem thing? And like, it's such a broad idea what he's looking for. So I'm like, I think we need to make this more generic, but focused in a way. It's a focused generic system. This isn't going to be a toolbox. This is going to be, you're going to play a very certain kind of game. You're going to play this a very certain kind of way. This is going to be a cheesecakey. This is the RPG equivalent of one of those female romance games, to a degree. Effectively, this is going to be a visual novel RPG. And visual novels take a lot of different forms. And wizards could also be using tech shit too. Yeah, effectively. Effectively, the wizard and the cleric are two sides of the same coin of, I want to support my friends versus I'm pulling out a Glock and fucking popping a motherfucker. Like, you can make the spell simpler and just make them MP based like all those JRPGs. Yeah, Phoenix Wright, VN RPG slowly turns to Phoenix Wright the RPG. Effectively, the one issue with that is like, how complex and long fights are gonna be. My brother in Christ, you're asking questions. We are not there. Like, Mara, I've had to rewrite this game from the ground up three times at this fucking point. Like, you think we're that far ahead? No! I don't, if I were to be conservative, I don't think fights are gonna be very complex. They're not gonna be like these grandiose, million-hour fucking things, but combat's gonna be a part of it. Honestly, fucking, you want to know the anime that I'm thinking of? Fucking what it's going to be based off of? Fuck it. You know what? I know what to do. It's Rosario Vampire Hours, boys. It's fucking time. It's finally time, everybody. This is it. This is exactly the fucking thing that I want this to be. It's just going to be the Rosario Vampire fucking TTRPG. I've done it, everybody. I have successfully conquered what this game is going to be. Don't question of all the various short skirts and don't question it. You're questioning things. I'm going to the forever box. Please, please, Lord. Please, Lord Almighty. I'm a good Christian boy. Actually, I liked Rosario X Vampire. That's just one step away from Monster Girls. Yeah. I know. Rangefighter with colorful Wizards can just be rangefighter with colorful projectiles. Yeah, like, pretty much, like, the idea behind Wizards and Clerics were that they're very open. Like, you can do stuff with them. They're a lot more about, like, hey, I want to be the one to cast spells. The problem with them is they're a lot more about setup. It's, I need to spend an action to do this. I need to spend an action to do this. And it's like, once they get set up, they're doing stuff. It's, hey, I want to spend an action to prepare me casting the Inferno fucking death, beam. I want to spend an action to prepare myself to do this. And that's why I was like, I wonder, like, how best to even do that. Not calling them white mage, black mage. Again, I didn't really know, like, how I wanted to name them anyway, so that's why I'm thinking, like, wizard and cleric, like, very purposely using more fantasy titles, even though they can be applied to many different things. What's a rogue? A rogue, in actuality, is just a skill monkey. They are just a character who does a lot of different things at once, and they're very skilled, but they don't really have many, like, combat application. They're not supposed to have combat application. They're supposed to have a lot of skills, or be able to kind of force their skills to do other things. Hunters are not supposed to be actually, like, ranger hunters. They're just really focused fighters. Teaches monkey how to pick locks. Behold, a rogue! Effectively. Like, hey, this is just a fucking, like, this is just a character that his job is to do skill checks, and, like, you're not really good at many other things, but it's like, yeah, you're picking up weird-ass little skills around the way, so it's like, okay, how do we implement this here? Like, defense mage, offensive mage, elemental mage is Quirrell Pyromancer. Cleric magic from Link, God or otherwise. Wizard magic from lack of Link manipulating Links. I don't want Links to become obsession, if that makes sense. They are important, but not. I don't want them to become obsession. If I, like, let me see. Do we have, like, an open magic, like, simple open magic? Have something to work. When in doubt, use Barbarians of fucking Lemuria. Why am I being complicated about things? That's the wrong fucking thing to do. I just need the magic section. Tell me about, this is the original fucking version. Simon, by the way, Simon Washburn's a really cool dude, and everything about him, what he does is cool. Don't you hesitate on that. Let me. Zuba. What they can do is they can buy new spells of different magnitudes. Fuck it. Let's just use, if you've never read Barbarians of Lemuria, just fucking do it. Because what we can do, I know what we fucking do. Because how this would work is pretty simple. So let's say, for example, like, effectively, they're not going to have many skill necessarily. What they're going to have is that they're going to have skill. They're going to have effectively abilities that they're going to custom build things. But it's going to be like, hey, I'm playing a wizard. Because I'm playing a wizard, I'm going to have maybe, if we break it apart, like if we do the idea of clerics are going to have to burn something personal, and wizards have to burn something impersonal. Like, hey, a wizard's got to use ammo or something like that. A cleric, on the other hand, is just maybe wizards have to spend, clerics have to roll. So it's like wizards can run out of power, clerics can just fail checks though. Do something. So pretty much, if you end up with like cantrips, what's a cantrip do? Cantrips are simple ability. Pretty much things you can always do. You can pick up 2 cantrips. You spend a skill level, you get 2 cantrips. What do they do? Create light, create sound. Simple things that you, a person, can do. Like, hey, what's a cantrip for a cleric look like? Someone who is purposely trying to help people. Well, since I'm a good Christian anime girl, I have the power to, create light from, create light. I also have the power to, mend light wound. Like, and it's only like it's like a D3. There you go. Those are your fucking powers as a you can usually always cast cantrips to do something. They're not going to be big, not going to be impressive, but at any point, you can say, there is light. However, first magnitude is going to be things like, you're going to have to make it's going to be like maybe like one PowerPoint, or like TN10. Second magnitude, 2 pp, TN12. Third magnitude, 3 pp. And 14. It's like, this is pretty fucking difficult at that point. It's like, yeah, you're really increasing your target number a lot. I mean, I guess we could do something like wizard spend a blood, cleric spend a faith. The party that you can do literally everything. Cantrips are infinite ammo. Effectively, it's like cantrip induce wardrobe malfunction. Yeah, effectively, if you are playing, let's say for example, you're being a pervy wizard, like you can do a cantrip which is like flip skirt. What's your ultimate power? What is God? The gods have granted you unlimited power. Good man, I have the power to Penty shot. Like, yeah, okay. 5 gorillion points to you, you fucking pervert. Cool, yeah, that's fine. Maybe lightning magic deal extra damage to enemies. I mean, we could tie things to like elemental things, like maybe spells tie, maybe God help us. Do we need to write another fucking tag system? God help us all. Not again. But yeah, no, that's fine, actually. We can work with... I think that can work pretty reliably. Are you doing have the useless blue thing? Oh, a chastity belt. I've been training for this. You don't understand. Yeah, that would be kind of the idea of the perv wizard, being less like, yeah, you yourself are playing a perv wizard, and that's how you flavor every single one of your spells, is you being a little pervy shithead. As a player, though, you're doing things to, hey, I'm trying to negate armor. I'm trying to blow up your armor as fast as possible. I am burning my power. I am burning my abilities to make sure that you don't have armor, so my guys can actually deal with you. My goal is to pretty much explode your clothes so that I can do things. Bisexual pervy wizards. Teleports behind you. I see you've been working out, Mr. Stoner. No, Mr. Pervy Wizard, no. Now. Like, yeah, it's like you're getting the idea solid. Like, honest to God, we could probably make a rogue like the adventure from Konosuba, where they can where they can actually get things from different classes, or if we really want to, I know what we can do. This is gonna be bad. What we can do is change the hero to exploit links and he's spread out a lot more. The problem with the hero is that he is going to be spread very thin. If he and it's kind of like, hey, you want to be a hero, you aren't going to be as focused as a fighter, a wizard, a cleric. You're not going to have those initial set of skills that are going to be useful. You are instead going to have very generalist skills. You're just going to be a guy with the bare minimum you need to survive. In exchange, you can take wizard cantrips. You can take hunter things. You can take battle maid. Oh, your powers? Don't you mean our powers? Yeah, so it's effectively, like, that's how effectively adventures work in Konosuba, is that if you play the adventurer class, you're getting class abilities from other people. The problem is, you suck. Like, your actual ability, your ability to actually do things isn't very good. So, I mean, if we want to represent that a little bit more, because these are my current races. So if we want to be, if we do the Barbarians of Lemuria method, we kind of do it like, if you just want to randomize a character. I want to randomize a character. You can't roll a hero. You have to purposely select a hero. But it's like, I just want to randomly create a character. I want to be a fighter when I grow up. I'm going to be a hunter when I grow up. So I've rolled hunter. Because I'm a hunter, I get to choose abilities there. If we're changing names, we can probably do brawler, wizard, cleric. Actually, I think fighter works. If we actually no, we can do warrior, wizard, cleric, rogue. Hunter, I think works. Battle maid. If we want to, we can just call it to maid. Just the complete non sequitur class. Just like you're a maid. And we can actually probably do something like support in this one as well. Like, you have all these fantasy classes, like you're a warrior, you're a wizard, you're a cleric, and then maid. What do maids do? Maids are pretty much the mixture of rogue and cleric. Like, they're all about just purely supporting people in the middle of the fight. Like, again, it's the best way to, what I want to occur is I want you to be able to play, you know, Rosario X Vampire as well as Yakuza 7. Like, if we're being like, hey, what character, what do I want to play? I want to play Ichiban. What does Ichiban do? Ichiban is going to be a hero. He gets a bunch of skills across the board. He pretty much multi-levels into warrior. That's his thing. What does Namba do? Namba is a skill monkey. He's a fucking skill monkey wizard. That's his entire thing. And that's how the characters actually develop. You can take a second class, but really only 2 classes. Heroes, if we want to, they are a support class in wizardry. Yeah, effectively. Effectively, yeah, like a maid is like, yes, you, as a maid, you have the ability to actually repair armor. Nobody else really has that ability consistently. It's like, yeah, wizards and clerics have to burn something to do it, but it's like, yeah, you're having to take that. But maids are also going to be pretty, like... So maid is going to be kind of a sort of a meme class, like Cook and Veil Riders, where it's actually useful shit, but just skinned to be a joke. Effectively, it's like, yeah, hey, you're a, like, it's like, yeah, warrior, wizards, clerics, rogues, maid? You're like, what the fuck, a maid? And but it's like, yes, the maid is going to be able to use her links more efficiently. Your maid is going to be more efficiently able to do things that other classes have to burn resources to do, or need a kind of multi-class kind of do, where it's like, that's where kind of the value of the hero comes in, where the hero can take everything from every class, he just can't multi-class. If we want to do that, that could work as well, because the hero is a one-man multi-class, but with the problem being, you're never going to have everything, and you're not really going to have those raw advantages that you might think you do. Okay, I can do this, I mean, if anything, we could start off with 2 classes. That could work. So heroes don't actually get a second class. They're just hero. They count as 2 classes. If we want to do something like that, because these are our basic races. So our basic races are something like this. If we want to be specific, what we can do is... kind of like, hey, you, as a reincarnated human, you get a slight dip. We can probably give variations to each of these to be a little bit different from one another. That would also allow us to fuck around with things like monster girls and animal girls. So it's like, yeah, as a cat girl, you are not as physical. Like, you are very low physical. You are a little smarter than the average bear. You are not very technical, but you are incredibly... Like, that is like your big thing. You are this incredibly emotional creature because you're a cat girl. And people like cat girl. However, you want to play a dog girl. Cool, you want to play a dog girl. What does that mean? As a dog girl, you are a lot stronger. You aren't very smart in any remote capacity, but you don't need to be smart. You are also very emotional. We could probably do something like this even. Like, cool. We've already established it. We just need to kind of like break this up apart. We can probably break like demons and devils. We can probably put angels, valkyries, etc. Kind of make those a little bit different. Vampires we can probably make a little bit different. Aliens aliens will probably be kind of like the meme race, if that makes any sense, where they're just going to be like just random. You're just gonna roll and like fuck you, whatever you get, you get. The hero's power is the power of friendship, stealing their friendship. Yeah, feel good, you're getting the idea. You are getting it. The hero's power is the power of friendship and get stealing their friends' shit. Hunter need acid slime pet. Would the villain be the same as a hero? If you want to go down that route, effectively, I want combat. Combat should be pretty simple, all things considering. I don't want to be like too in depth with it because again, I don't know how these things are gonna go. You might do an entire campaign with no combat. Let's see. What I am debating with each of the races is by virtue of selecting a race, you are adding them as a skill. It's like, by virtue of choosing to be a ghost, you have the ghost skill. And like with your free points, you can invest in that ghost skill. What does the ghost skill do? Ghost shit. You want to phase through a wall? You're gonna do ghost shit. I want to spook someone. Ghost shit. Curse die for alien? It's gonna be very conceptual. Very conceptual at best. Most likely, I want to possess them. Ghost shit. Yeah, exactly. You're getting the right idea. It's like ghost shit. You're gonna use the ghost skill to do things. Not a grid. Most likely we will use either strictly zones or we'll use an action map. I am leaning toward an action map or kind of like more of a combat, a very particular combat map. Yeah, you're getting the right idea, Fearganim. It's like this is a skill that you have, but by investing in this skill, by virtue of investing in this skill, you're neglecting other skills that may be more useful for you. What is being a vampire? Well, being a vampire means you're good at stalking people, you're doing this. You probably don't need to invest in stealth as much. So like, if you don't need to invest in stealth as much, you can recontextualize that a little. Change it up a bit. Think about outside the box. It's either give them a skill or give them like a strict ability. By virtue of being a demon or devil, you get the ability to do this. And you can invest in it like a normal ability. By virtue of being a vampire, you have this ability that you are able to. I'm leaning toward ability. Some of them are going to be a little bit more complicated, mostly when it comes down to like animal girls or monster girls. So your race is like a secondary class. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. It would be something like Ghost might have like, what's a incorporate. You might have, as a ghost, you have the incorporeal ability, and it's like SL session, become incorporeal and can move through solid objects. / avoid an attack. Avoid a mundane physical attack. You can only do it maybe once or twice a session if you don't invest into it. But again, investing in Ghost is not investing in the ability to go first. You're not investing in the ability to do more damage. You're investing in once a session I'm able to do a thing. Cool, easy enough to understand. Let's see. The only ones I'm a little bit hesitant about are right up here. Are Animal Girls and Monster Girls. I want to invest in being a Shoguff. We are not doing that anime, thank you very much. Those would be the only two I'm a little bit worried about. And if I want to be, we can probably do like animal skill. Like effectively your ability is to get the animal skill. Like that's your ability. You have the ability to do, you are more of a cat girl. You are more of a dog girl. You have all the abilities and senses of that. The problem being you have all the abilities and senses of doing such. That could be a little bit complicated. That could be a little bit wonky. Maybe the non-combat RP leaning. That might not be a bad idea. That wouldn't be the worst idea. God damn it, feel good. It kind of like my one fear of making them non-combat RP leaning and stuff is I'm afraid people will look at them being like, oh well, I don't want to do it anymore. Well, it's not useful. Like, well, it is useful because it's a non-combat thing. That's why I'm like, have a combat element to it, but maybe not like a very good one. It's like, yeah, you can invest in the ability to avoid damage once, Or you can invest in the ability to dodge better. I wonder what we should take. So, leaning toward ability. I think do an ability. We give each one 2-3 variants each. I think that works. We'll just have to make a... If we give everyone 2-3 variants each. Oh, invest in the ability of being able to ignore solid objects for a object rules for Ghost. Yeah, it's kind of like, hey, there's a wall we need to get into. What do? We're screwed. We'll never get in. I'm a fucking ghost. Oh. Again, it's fucking not Yuka Yuna and the Haunted Hot Spring. What was the fucking Yuna and Haunted Hot Spring? The one where he wants to have sex with a ghost? Danny Phantom Memento. Yuna and the Haunted Hot Spring. There we go. This is also a very good example of what this game should be at the end of the day. Because if I remember correctly, this is me trying to remember everything about this show at the top of my head. She is an Oni, she's a Kenamore, she's a fucking cat girl, she's a ninja, like a demon ninja. She is a fucking house spirit, and she's a literal ghost, and he's an exorcist. There we go. You want to do this right? Fuck it, let's game. So, I mean, if we're doing this correctly, Yuna would be a ghost maid, effectively. That would be her class, effectively. She's a maid. She's purely support focused, or if we want to be specific, she can probably become a ghost wizard. Cool, easy enough to understand. Let me bring up the fucking character. I'm very bad with bringing up all the fucking names, by the way. Kogarashi. Kogarashi is our main guy. What does Kogarashi do? Kogarashi is, of course, going to be a human hero. What's he do? He fucking steals abilities from his friends. What is Sagiri doing? What is Sagiri doing? Sagiri is demon slaying ninja. She is going to be a human. She's going to be a human. We can probably do a human hunter. That's her entire goal in life. What is Hibari? Actually, no. Let me see. Yaya. What's Yaya? She is a cat girl. What would be a cat girl. If we're basing it off of this, it would probably be a cat girl cleric in more ways than one. Chitose. Chitose would be a ghost maid. Nanko would be a demon. Demon warrior. There we go. Every single one of them accounted for in some way. Cat girl cleric's a little. We want to be a little bit more specifically. Color a rogue. Go through any door once is great. Goes through wall. There's not a doorknob on this side. What do you mean there isn't a doorknob? Oh no, I'm trapped on the other side. Now you remind me of Daojin Series, the guy who gets drunk with a ghost stuck on a house. It's like, have no fear, everybody. There's the literal embodiment of this house, and I'm going to just have sex with it. Like, god damn it. Hippity hoppity, I'm gonna fuck a ghost. I'll have you know, there's this hentai series I want you all to know about. There's this really good hentai series, which is just effectively a guy moves into an apartment with, I can't believe it's not Sadako. And the first thing he does is like, you know what? And it's like, yep, I would. And it's just their weird relationship. There's like I think there's 5 volumes of it. And it's just kind of expanding the story of like what she does. Oh god. Give me 1 second. Let me just Google that real fast to make sure that it's not horribly perverted. Luckily, oh, this one. Oh god, no, we can't. Legally speaking, I cannot show this, but yeah. You're getting the right idea. The guy makes big boobies, Sonic. I need title gamer. If I were to look at it, if I were to look at N hentai right now, I'd be able to find it. Just finding it's a pain in the ass because it's in fucking Japanese. It is translated though. I think the first 4 volumes are. I know there's a 5th one. But yes, okay. We can do this. We can do that. Easy peasy, lemano squeeziano. Bucket Barbarians of Lemuria. What else are we really? I mean, if we classes give your abilities, maybe we give alternates to each of the classes as well. So you have things like samurai, you have things like just your brawlers, just as your samurai, just as maybe things like that. So you have a little bit of a, it's kind of the idea of like, there's a many different interpretations to every single one of these. That's the point. The point is that there's a lot of different variations. Please make your own. Okay. Alright. I'm feeling good. I can tell you one thing that's going to be a pain in the ass, though. I'm going to tell you this right fucking now. New skill, gay or European. Gay or European, get an enemy, question their sexual preference. They are really influenced by the opposite preference. Why is everyone into NTR, or is it just a meme? Don't question NTR fags. They are not human. Very, very important fact. They are not human, or worse, Korean. Do you realize how much Korean NTR shit there is? I don't get it. Like I don't get the amount of like, hey everybody, I'm gonna be Korean, time for NTR. It's like, it's not just one, it's not just two, it's like every single thing that Koreans do is NTR. I don't get how. I don't get why. I'm fucking fascinated. What happened to you, Korea? What happened? Did getting fucked by the US break you? Did the literal witches who controlled your government for a while do something? You know, the literal witch coven that owned South Korea for a time. Did that do something? Did that do something to fuck your day up? The actual literal witch coven. That's one of those stories you hear about and you're like, that's not real. That's completely wrong. But then you look into it and it's like, yeah, that's real. The Korean government was being influenced by fucking witches. And it's like, fuck it. You know what? No, we're good. How about we don't do that anymore? Okay. We're doing good. Wednesday, we can start on this. I think there's going to be 2 things that are going to be complicated. 2 things that are going to be complicated are this. I tell you right fucking now, abilities are going to be the bane of my fucking existence. Abilities are going to be really unfun. And of course, skills are going to be nightmarish to deal with. I just need... Skills are going to be one of those things where we're just going to sit down and just write skills. There's just going to be a dozen skills, and I really need to kind of like... Here are some core skills for you to worry about. Here's some core skills for you to worry about. Abilities are going to be weird in a completely... abilities are going to be weird. Oh, you mean like the US government? I mean like literal witches. Like a coven of supernatural witches control the South Korean government. South Korea and her spiritual puppet master. Yeah, there was like this literal cabal of women who controlled the like president of fucking South Korean president for a while. Like magic whisk. Yeah, it's one of those like it's one of those things where you look at and you're like, the fuck? Like you look at it, you're like, this isn't right. Like, yeah, South Korean business primarily involved political scandal. Yeah, there's a bunch of like weird. Yeah, directly influenced and interfered with park government, invented parks presidential speeches, senior staff members influenced to extort 77.4 billion won, $60 million. Let me see for like let me see where was the one where it's like, yeah, there was a lot of weird. There was a lot of weird things with this one. Like, this entire thing was like, why is that a thing? I will note for skills, don't worry. I think I have like a good list of skills to just kind of use, because what I want skills to do is, skills should be both a combination of very particular ones, like melee or ranged, and also very open-ended ones. I kind of want to give every class, like, here's a combat skill, here is, here's 2 combat skills, or like 2 immediately useful skills that you always are going to know what they're going to do, and here are 2 more like RP skills that you can use to do things. Nice ability, easy abilities, and here's a few skills that you can invest in. Like, you can take dodge. Dodge is good, but do you really want dodge? But you can't really dodge out of a social situation. Like, well, you can, but you get what I mean. That'll be the kind of the hard part, is kind of like getting all of that set up, but I feel decent. I feel confident enough to get it sorted out. It's tying everything is, I know for a fact, everything is going to need to get tied to these 4 things in one way or another. Some of them are pretty simple, like, yes, physical is, are you using your body to do the thing? If the answer is yes, it's going to be physical. Are you using your mind to do something? Yes. Are you needing to be precise with something? Technical. Do you need to use your, personality? Emotional. Some are going to be pretty obvious. Some are going to be maybe a little bit more touchy-feely. Like melee, I'm saying is physical, but range is going to be tech. It's things like that. But I'm going to call it there. Yeah, nothing too productive. The goal for tonight and the goal for tomorrow is I'm going to write the script up. Mind you, I'm going to write the script up for the TSR thing tonight. Most likely tomorrow is going to be me working on one part of the video. It's probably going to be 1 or 2, it's going to be about one kind of, one and a half parts of the video. Because the video for Friday is going to be the Saga of TSR. I've been talking about this one for a while, but it's going to be the Saga of TSR. That video is going to be weird, because I have to explain a lot of terms with it. Like, it's one of those things, like, I have to describe what a merger is, what's an acquisition, what's a purchase of a business. Because those are three very different terms. And like how things operate and how things don't operate is very important. Especially when it comes to various aspects of it. What is copyright? What is trademark? What's the rights of copyright versus the rights of trademark, and do they have, crossover? Do they not have crossover? Especially when it comes to US law. Because there's a lot of fucking people who do not understand trademark and do not understand copyright. So it's like, okay, to talk about fucking TSR, we need to talk about trademark and copyright. And good God, here's the thing, like, I don't consider myself the most, like, vested learner of TSR, the original TSR, OG TSR's history. I did a deep dive today. I really just sat down and I learned all about TSR. Holy shit! How the fuck did that company function? And I think here's an important thing for everybody. Next time you're like, I think Lorraine Williams is a bad person. No! Lorraine Williams is good. Jesus fucking Christ, that woman did more work than I think I've ever seen someone do. Jesus fucking Christ. That woman's insane. Like, it's really weird. Like, I don't think I'm going to be able to talk about Lorraine Williams as much. I don't think I'm going to be able to talk about, like, the early TSR as much. Even though that early TSR could be a video unto itself, because it's such a fascinating exploration, you could say, of what this company was. Because I didn't really realize that Lorraine Williams is pretty much the precursor to everything modern D&D. Like, if you've ever say, I like Planescape, thank Lorraine Williams for that. You like Ravenloft? Thank Lorraine Williams for that. And it's really weird when you think about that, because we demonize her so much now. But then you realize it's a miracle. From the sounds of it, it's a miracle D&D is even a thing. They sue regularly. Yeah, that was her big thing, is that she sued a lot. She wasn't very popular. No, she wasn't very popular outside of the company, but she ran that business well. Because, like, the weird thing, and, like, you know what, fuck it, I can talk about early, I'm gonna be able to talk about early TSR here, but never fucking again. Like, I'm gonna see if I can find, like, a TSR logo. Give me something to work. So, this is TSR. So, the weird thing with TSR is actually pretty simple. Is this company was effectively founded, I think it's I think it's like late 70s. Late 70s. And it was Gygax, Bloom, and fuck, what was his other name? What was his fucking name? It was K, if I remember correctly. K. Give me what's Don K. Like, nobody talks about Don K at all. But it was effectively Gygax, Bloom, and K. Bloom is an important figure in this, because what happens is after K dies, his wife takes over. And they rebranded the TSR Hobbies. K's wife takes over, and then by the early 80s, it's just Gygax, not Gygax and Bloom, and the Blooms. Because this fucking guy he got money from gave it to his two sons. Which allowed Gary to pretty much fuck over a lot of people. And which led to all of this shit, because they got really big, and everything went to just these three fucking morons. Gary was an idiot, and apparently, according to him, he either didn't do anything, or he did a lot. There's no good answer for it. But apparently these guys were investing in... Apparently it's weird because like the Blooms were like investing in things from their own groups. These guys controlled a lot of business. For no reason. TSR was being used as a fucking funnel to make money for their family, effectively, family friends. They didn't give a shit. Why would they? But that also led to Gary effectively seizing a shit ton of money from things, because this is the fucking weird thing. This is like one weird aspect about TSR that I don't think people quite understand. They, for the longest time, were effectively taking loans out on their own books. That's how they did things. And it was insane. Like, quite literally, they would go to Random House, the publisher, and they'd be like, give us a loan to print so we can make the games, so you can print them and make money. How was that legal? That was the contract they signed. And that came to bite them in the ass later on, during the Williams era. Because they were hemorrhaging money at one point. Like, where was the line? They actually had a very interesting, like, line. Where was it? Yeah, meanwhile, the Bloom's out of power at the company, worried about the financial strength in the long term. Because he was, like, posting losses constantly. The Bloom, like, there was a shit ton of money of, like, things that he wasn't making. He was doing bigger loans. Things were not making money. And it was not really good due to market saturation. However, the fucking Blooms, mind you, gave all of their... pretty much bought a bunch of shares from the company and then gave it all to Williams. Because Williams, mind you, was part of a much larger family of money, of people with money. Like, they were, like, hemorrhaging money. Like, this is the... Williams was the financial planner who saved TSR from financial disaster. She saw potential rebuilding the debt-plagued company into a highly profitable one. Yeah, it was, where was it? Every single person I talked to who worked under Gary, Gygax, and Blooms and worked under Lane preferred working under Lorraine. Jeff Grubb is a author and short story guy and pretty much worked on a bunch of other things. Pretty much saved the company, as the company was weeks away from total collapse when she took over. Like, the thing is this. I'm the biggest hero of all time. I'm the biggest D&D's been taken down. Like, the thing is, this is all true. Like, this is an important thing. Ethical, since you're here, this is actually a fairly important thing. Like, the entire deals that Gygax was doing, they invested in a bunch of stupid shit. But the thing with Lorraine... Okay, so she isn't the one who cut Gary out of the deal and left him apparently die penniless. Oh no, she was. Like, that was the funny thing. She was a horrible person. She did not give a shit about the game. She did not give a shit about anything. She was just a complete businesswoman. This is an important factor. She was a businesswoman. The company was doing really badly financially. She pretty much seized power through through pretty much market manipulation and using the money from the Blooms. The Blooms had a shit ton of money. Like, the Blooms had a shit ton of money. And Lorraine Williams and her family also had a shit ton of money. Gygax didn't die penniless. Like, we're gonna fucking find Lorraine. Like, I didn't quite realize, like this is Lorraine, granddaughter of John F. Dill, president of the National Newspaper Syndicate, arranged for Buck Rogers to be turned into a syndicated comic strip. Effectively, this is important. They owned the Buck Rogers thing. She owned a shit ton of money. Her family was very well off because it was the Dilly, because they owned effectively the national newspaper syndicate. This was huge. Like, all of these things. Ever heard of Marmaduke? She did that. Buck Rogers, that was there. Abe and the Brat, like, all of these things, they did. They made a lot of money, and it was a lot of money based off just this guy. But that was also why you can find all the... If you ever want to know why TSR did a bunch of Buck Rogers things, it was because of Williams. Because her fucking family owned Buck Rogers. So no shit, they're gonna force her to do things. And she did, because why wouldn't she? Because this is her family fucking legacy, is Buck fucking Rogers. And guess what didn't make any fucking money? Buck Rogers! Are we still streaming Battle? We found a finished Battle Harem. I was kind of discussing about the nature of the video. What's going to be happening this week for the video, Ethical. Currently, for the Battle Harem thing, we have remajiggered a vast majority of it, and I'm feeling good about it. I think one of the main issues that we're going to have with it is just writing abilities, but that's kind of the nature of the beast. If you have any questions on that, don't hesitate to ask. Like, people do not like Lorraine Williams for a variety of reasons. Mostly because Gygax hated her. And she was a bitch. Like, I'm not gonna lie, she was a horrible person. She was a businesswoman, though. And she saved a company that was probably going to be dead in 1 year and brought it up to another decade. It's also the reason it got sold to Hasbro. That's why it's not Hasbro. She's one of the reasons why it got sold to Wizards of the Coast, which was one of the reasons it got acquired by Hasbro. Like, that's one of those very amusing things. But I finished Spec Ops and got the good ending. Which of the many good endings, Ethical? I don't know what you're talking about. If I recall correctly, there are 3 endings. There are 3 endings to the game. No, there's 4 endings. Yeah, there we go. There's 4 endings. But yeah. I got the goodest of endings. Like, yeah, no, TSR, the actual story of TSR is one of just financial decision-making and just financial hardship, effectively. What would the hobby be like if it went under? In the 80s? If TSR went under in the 80s, that would have been real fascinating for a lot of people. Because that would be a... It's a short game, but now, Ethical, you get to play it on insane mode. Come on, do play it on insane mode. It's great. Make sure you turn on VSync though. You will die immediately if you don't. Fun fact. Yeah, it's one of those things, like, TSR was such a large combination of, like, really bad financial decisions. Like, really bad financial decisions. And things going just heroically wrong in a variety of ways. But Lorraine managed to pull it through for another decade. It's pretty much anytime when people talk about 2nd edition, they're actually talking about the Williams era. Like, because 2nd edition was during the Williams era. Ravenloft, Williams era. Planescape, Williams. Al-Qadim, Williams. There were a lot of things that happened under the Williams era. Mind you, doesn't mean Williams was good, because her insistence, including Spelljammer, by the way, her insistence on making more settings, her insistence on making more and more settings actually polluted the market pretty bad. Liked a lot, but also hated a lot of stuff. AD&D 2nd edition is very much when things went a different path. 2nd edition is... 2nd edition, people like 2nd edition. People hate 2nd edition. Did she pull a Terry 2600? What? Atari 2600? Oh, to a degree. Effectively, what the plan, what Williams' plan was, and in turn the plan with the deal with Random House, was pretty simple. The original goal was, we're going to print more campaign books. More campaign books. More settings, more abilities, more things. Cool, awesome. Random House? Yes. Random House originally published everything. Yeah, they were the original publishers of D&D. Well, sort of publishers. They're the one who printed the books. And they were the ones who caused their financial collapse, fun fact. Yeah, Random House killed TSR. Remember that. Because what happened was, the goal was this. Let's say we have setting A, setting B, setting C. The original goal was like, we will print, I'm using very low numbers here, we'll print 100, we'll print 100 books of all of these. And if one person buys setting A, that means they'll buy setting B through C. So it'd be like, cool, you know, effectively one customer is going to buy 3 different things. That didn't happen. What happened was that a bunch of people bought 10 books. Rather than having one setting sell more buy more books. You know, it was kind of that idea. The problem was, Random House didn't see as you sold 30 books. No, they saw it as you sold 10 books of a larger stock. You didn't sell enough. And remember, this is a very important fact. Now, this is a very important fact. TSR was taking money from Random House to continue funding more products that weren't selling. Like, that was the idea. Random House was giving TSR money to make books so they could sell. TSR was raking in money. They were doing really good, but just the overheads on everything killed them. They did. That was the thing. They said, you know what? We've been loaning to you too long. These products are not selling. We're going to ship them back to you, and you're going to pay for everything that you didn't sell. And they did, which went to their warehouses, and their warehouse guys weren't getting paid because they were in debt. Like, they were massively in debt because they got effectively chargebacked. Be like, no, give us our fucking money back. We're calling in your debt. We're calling in your debt. What was the, I know this is the most reliable thing is fucking Wikipedia, but it was, let's see, despite sales of around 40 million in 95, had little cash reserves and was deep in debt. Random House returned around $14 million a product between 95 to 97. No crash, they were unable to pay their printing and shipping bills. TSR entered 1997 with over $30 million in debt. They couldn't refund Random House. They were $30 million in debt. That was how they had to do it, Lubu, because it worked really well in the 80s because they were selling so long. Why is Warlick making books for players and not DMs? So TSR video is either going to be a long video or a two-parter. It's going to be a long video. Yeah, I thought TSR choked on the plastic dice of Dragon Dice. That was another major part of it because they were using Random House to distribute it. And they returned a bunch of shit. Because what effectively Random House was doing is that they were giving money to TSR to make these products so they could sell them. But they weren't selling because nobody knew what the fuck they were. And they kept making weird shit that nobody was buying. And they just kept making books no one was buying. They were making things no one was buying. But this is the problem. Picture your TSR now. And you say, hey, we've made a bunch of money. We've got all this money. We've paid forward. Random House is going to make its money, but they weren't making their money. It was completely off false pretenses. Because they were making, like, things were doing well, but it was just too much. And everything, of the 40 million they made, a bunch of it would go back to Random House, pay back their loans that they couldn't make all the time. How the fuck has D&D lasted this long? Truth be told, because Wizards of the Coast bought them. That was one of the big things that Wizards of the Coast did. Because Wizards of the Coast was not around very long. They were a very young company, all things considering. But they had made millions and millions of dollars and bought them for a fucking pittance. A fucking pittance. How much did they get acquired by? Like, I'm actually like curious. How much did they get acquired by? Yeah, it was, where was, yeah, unpaid freelancers, missing royalties, Oriental pay remaining staff the first half of 97 with no viable financial plan for TSR survival, sold the company in 97 with a deal brokered by Five Rings Publishing. Effectively, they were bought to get rid of their debt and to maybe give some people some pittance back up. They pretty much paid everybody out with what was available and sold the company for debt reassurance. They sold TSR for about $30 million. And it wasn't even like $30 million to like Lorraine Williams or anyone else's pocket. It was $30 million to pay off everybody they fucked up with. Taking loans from publishers, let them print the game. Kickstarter, baby, that's the loan. Funny, as far as Wizards then published 2 weird books nobody bought either. Exactly. Because the thing is, like, Wizards had to publish things for them. Which, mind you, this is the funny thing. This is the hilarious thing. 2 years later, they got fucking bought by Hasbro for $325 million. Wizards of the Coast, you could make an argument. There's an argument people were making. Is that because Wizards of the Coast burned a lot of money purchasing TSR and had to spend more money repairing things, they effectively purchased something that they needed to fix, which allowed Hasbro to cut them a very nice deal, which then immediately stabbed them in the back because Wizards got gutted. It's is pretty much how this video is going to be structured. Because again, this isn't a video about TSR. This is a video about TSR, the entire thing. Because this is just part 1. And what I need to do is effectively part 1 of this video is going to be Wizards of the Coast. No, they were not, Marateg. You are incorrect. What they were doing was making CCG, making collectible card games. Magic sold out. Magic was their fucking money printer. Then they picked up things like Pokemon. They picked up a bunch of different things that they were just printing money with. And they did make things like that. They were literally making like generic things. But then they're like, we can just buy them. So they did. Like, Wizards would be nowhere if Magic did not literally print money. Like, that's the funny part. And they picked up things like Pokemon. They picked up a bunch of these things because they were just print money. Because they got the patent for CCGs at one point. One thing to note. Does anything... Spellfire almost did, but Spellfire was a bad idea. No, not really. Because one of the weird things... What this video is going to be... Here's the explanation of TSR. Here's how they collapsed. Here's how they were bought. And then explaining what an acquisition is. Wait, them, not Richard Garfield? Yes, they got the patent because it was a business. It's a business thing. What is Spellfire? Spellfire was TSR's attempt to make their own Magic game. Ha 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 ha. Funny. Ha ha. Hee hee. Hoo hoo. Ha ha. Did the L5R card game do anything close to Magic? No, because here's the funny thing. Do you see this? Five Rings Publishing Group? They bought it. They bought Legend of the Five Rings. That's what they did. That was the plan. They just bought it. Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Because what effectively occurred was how this video is going to be structured is here's TSR. Here's how, like, what is acquisition, what is a merger, and things like that. Because people believe TSR merged with Wizards. They did not. TSR was just bought. That's why them lapsing the trademark is so important. And that's kind of setting up the second TSR. Kind of the Wizards era and leading to it, effectively, them lapsing on the trademark, leading to Solarian Games picking it up. And Solarian Games becoming TSR, rebuilding the Dungeon Hobby Shop and a bunch of other things, losing that to Justin Lanasa. With Justin Lanasa, and technically at that point it would be Justin Lanasa and, what's his fucking name? I can see it. He's a weird giant land. Deinhardt. It would be Lanasa. Then we have the Lanasa and Deinhardt TSR. Then we have the Lanasa TSR. Then we have its death. Chapter 7 bankruptcy. That is quite literally the saga of this video. I'm just going to tell you how this video is going to be handled. It's a story with a bookend at the end of it with a larger theme of this shit's happened before repeatedly. And it's trying to correct you. The way I'm approaching it, the way I'm approaching it is I'm not really going to be talking about the first era very much. Effectively, this part right here, the TSR, the old TSR, is just going to be setting it up. TSR was good. TSR went under Williams. They made a lot of money, but then they got acquired by Wizards. And this is how this happened. And this is how we got here. And that entire first section is going to be building up. Ow. That entire first section is literally just building up to explaining what an acquisition versus a merger is. Building up that phlegm. That is literally that first part. And then it's like, then we go to here, then we go to here, then we go to here. And then it's just kind of that slow plotting. Because there's going to be a section of the video which is like, okay, let's explain copyright versus trademark. Because that's a thing that I have to do. Because people don't understand copyright versus trademark. I need to explain at one point Let's see, it's copyright and trademarks going to be kind of an issue. Mergers and acquisitions are going to be kind of an issue. What was the other one that I really talk about? Once I start writing it. Oh yeah, the legal case. That's going to be another fucking disaster area. Explaining the entire TSR legal case with Wizards. That's going to be a fucking mess. Pardon? What do you mean? Yeah, about teamwork and friendship owned by a bunch of murder hobos. It's like, how do you explain in a nice and succinct way what the actual Wizards of the Coast TSR court case is about? I'll give you a hint. It's every single person being stupid. That entire court case is room temperature IQ at best. And it's just because of shit like this. Businesses, of disputes, of who owns what owns who, and all going around circles and circles and circles. Can't believe a guy who works in the defense industry is involved in fucking around this bad, and the lawyers are also Three Stooges. The thing with the Wizards case, and this is going to be a weird implication I have to make as well. The weird thing with the Wizards case is TSR, the new TSR, Lanasa's TSR, sued Wizards of the Coast for using his trademark, which they were doing, mind you. Legally, they were not allowed to use that trademark, technically. But, this is the weird thing, that things get weird. The way he went about it was, I'm suing you to remove the woke comments at the beginning of the book, at the beginning of these books, because I think he thought, since he owned the trademark, he owned the copyright to it. Yeah, you're seeing a larger issue to this, by the way. You're seeing just a little bit of a bigger issue with this, which led to Wizards countersuing for protection of their brand because of the trademark. This is literally prefaced off. Both cases are stupid and should be thrown out of court. But then Lanasa kept talking. And then that made it into an actual court. But it wasn't a court case, because neither side has produced the right evidence. Because, who the hell is the judge? There's been like two and a half. Because the thing is, everybody takes so long to get anything done, it's like, okay, no, we aren't doing this. And then it's like, okay. Why would anyone want to waste their own time on this nonsense? Because they have to. This is millions of dollars. This is like it's big businesses, it's money, it's all that bullshit getting tossed around. But it's actually happening. Yeah. Because legitimately, you think Lanasa was trying to get money through a court case because he was a lawyer. No, he wasn't a lawyer. Do not believe he was a lawyer. That is patently incorrect. Yeah, because the thing is, Lanasa's defense is, I own the fucking trademark. Wizard said, nuh-uh. Look, we put it on our... Wizard's defense quite literally is, we own the trademark because we put it on the books. But then he pulls out the legal paper saying, I own the trademark because they let it lapse 3 times. 3 times. But the problem is, Lanasa is now being stupid with it and claims that he's the real TSR and that he owns all the books, even though that's not how that works at all. The legal system is the punishment. Yes. And it's like, we've now established this, but TSR declared Chapter 7 bash my mic. TSR declared Chapter 7 bankruptcy. For those who don't know, let's do Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Chapter 7, bankruptcy. The big thing is, Chapter 7 is, we have no fucking money and we're fucked. Yeah, it's the, we have legitimately no fucking money. We are completely in poverty. There is nothing of value we own. And it's Jover. Yeah, debtors non-exempt assets and use the proceeds of such assets to pay holders of the claim in accordance with the provisions of the bankruptcy code. Like, quite literally, they're gonna sell everything they can to get as much money as they can and then leave. Because, I'm gonna give you a secret. Doesn't Lanasa Company do TSR hemorrhaging money? They've made $600 in gross fucking revenue this year. $600 and have $30,000 in debt. The fucked up thing? You want to know the fucked up thing, Lubu? Here's the beautiful thing. Most of that debt's to his own company. We have last year's revenue? No, but the thing is, I don't think it'd be much higher because TSR officially has, you gotta remember, TSR has 2 products. Like, fucking what? Yes, he went through legal services through himself. Are they going to try to sell the TSR trademark back to Hasbro? I don't. That is a potential. That is a very big potential, but it might not count as an asset. Legitimately speaking, it may not count as an asset they are able to liquidate. Like, liquidating assets is like, we're going to sell all our books at dirt cheap. We're going to sell all the printers in the office. We're going to sell all the chairs in the office. We're going to sell everything. I do wonder if they tapped into... No, Wuso, they never did. Like, this is a very important factor of life. They never did. This is legitimately all they are now. Let's go to Dungeon Hobby Shop. Okay, let's be nice. This is the Dungeon Hobby Shop. This is a completely separate business, technically. Yeah, this is technically a different company. It's its own thing, and it kind of does its own idea. The only things they have produced, this is a very important thing. They've produced this board game, Dungeon Crawl, the board game. What is Dungeon Crawl? Okay, what is Tensor the Crazy Wizard, Gygaxian Ring? How many people bought this? Probably fucking no one. Sammy Zawa, have anyone bought this? Probably fucking not, because who knows this exists? They had Tales and Tots, which was a game book first edition. Do you want your children to stop playing with electric tablets and pads? Do you want to see them get off console video game systems? Well, your answer is Tales and Tots, an interactive role-playing game for you and your children aged 2 plus 2 or more players. This was one of their 2 fucking products. And of course, we can't forget about Lanasa's book. My name is Cheza, not Pizza. This was one of their 3 fucking products. That's it. There is nothing else. They never sold anything because there wasn't anything to sell. Like, you can make an argument like, oh, well, you got a membership passes and everything, but a lot of this most likely goes directly back to the hobby shop, which isn't owned by them, really? Because it's the Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum LLC, not TSR. What if tapped it like board game looks a rehash of Treasure? This is the most boomer shit out there, and I do want to know how many people bought these things, including Giant Lands. Giant Lands? This is an important thing, Wuso. Ignore everything about Giant Lands. Giant Land, they have, TSR did not see a single fucking dime of Giant Lands. Not a single fucking dime ever graced the hands of TSR with Giant Lands. That's one thing you gotta remember. And honest to God, with like, I hit the wrong button. Like, Wonderfilled is Deinhardt's company. Like, you gotta remember that. This is Deinhardt company. And that's where things start getting really messy. Is this thing actually, people at least bought this game. Don't know why you would. What? You could buy for $50. You can be at a table with him. For $75, you can buy Giant Lands First Edition. Cool. I love it. This is what we live for. You want to know why I don't think WFD has made a lot of money? Fun fact. Let's go to Wonderfilled Games. Give me their Twitter. Pull up the Twitter, Jamie. Want to know why I don't actually think? Where was it? Let's see. Where was it? Where was the one here that kind of like, or the American Ritual? Yeah, like this is Deinhardt's. This is entirely Deinhardt's company. But you also can see our SSL is out on GiantLands.com. Frankly, we can't afford to fix it at this point. Buy a copy of the game, and you can help change that today. Their fucking security license ran out. This is just, welcome to the Giant Lands team. Where is yep, welcome to the entirety of the Giant Lands team and everyone involved with it. Where's Deinhardt in this? Did Deinhardt not show up? I think that's Deinhardt right there. Who the fuck? Wasn't Giant Lands possibly going to become? Yes, Giant Lands was going to become the amusement park. Security license. Yeah, Deinhardt lore, like an SSL certificate is secure sockets layer for a stable encrypted link between server and a client. Pretty much, you see this lockup here? It's effectively that. You know, it's a valid certificate. WSD apparently doesn't have one on their website anymore. Is that I don't, like, apparently that's not a thing that's going to occur now. They ran out of it. for some reason. Yeah, just to, again, it's one of those stories that I need to talk about. And the entire thing is just leading up to, because originally this video was going to be me leading up to the release of Star Frontier's New Genesis. That was going to be the ending of the video. But Star Frontier's New Genesis comes out. Star Frontier's New Genesis comes out, and it's shit, and we all laugh at TSR, but here's the reason how we got here. But they declared complete fucked up bankruptcy. There's no hope they're going to come back from this. You don't announce bankruptcy and then try to recover. That's not a thing that happens. You're doomed, effectively. It's Jover. You've lost. Like, you never begun to win. You never began to win. It's just over. It's over, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it over? It's over, isn't it? Yes, yeah, it's fucking, it's over. Yeah, there's some, sorry everybody. The dream is over. It's never a joke. My assumption will be two things. Either A, Wizards of the Coast, and in turn Hasbro, will buy up the trademark and pretty much never touch it ever again. It will be every year, it's going to be one guy's job to go through the trademark, click the fucking button, pay the fee, and be done with it. You buying one copy of Radiant Citadel will ensure that Hasbro has complete control over the TSR branding. Or someone else will buy it, and we'll have a new TSR. The new TSR will do something else with it. Maybe I'll buy the TSR, IP. It'll be my trademark then. And then I'll rebrand the SPRUG workshop into the TSR workshop, and I'll just make TSR products. It'll be great, everybody. Oh, I'll have to redesign the logo, but don't worry. Don't worry. I'll update the logo using my best friend, my most dedicated and strongest warrior. I'll get Jort to do it. I think it will elevate. No, Deinhardt is fled. That's the thing. Deinhardt has pretty much excused himself of all problems, because of who he was, and he's pretty much he's scot-free. Lanasa's the one getting shot. Gotta remember that, Wusa. Ori speed ran to say racist things, part with Schizo dead. No! But yes, Lanasa will most likely get shot. It's over, isn't it? Isn't it over? We had a good run, everyone. But I think this video is going to be a little long, hence why I'm taking 2 days to do it. So Gygax Jr. escaped the clusterfuck? No, he is permanently. The problem with Ernie Jr. is that he's stuck in the middle of it at this point. Like, nothing he does will ever escape his association with Lanasa and company. Honest to God, the one who got out of everything, the guy who got out of everything, this is important. This is Luke. This is Luke Gygax. This is what he does. He's doing pretty good for himself. All things considering, Luke's got a good company, Gaxworks, right here. You kind of see it. This is his company. He contributes to a few different things. They do mostly 5e stuff. They've got a little bit of a, he does things because he cares about it. He's a retired vet. He's done a lot. And he's fucking ripped. That dude is over 50 fucking years old. Look at that man. That man is ripped. Honestly, good God. I think he's the one who kind of came out the best. He left Solarian on relatively good terms. I would say the two companies doing the best is Solarian came out pretty well. They're actually going to be doing a Kickstarter here soon. The other one, and Luke, he's got a good company. It's definitely not his full-time company, but he's effectively retired at this point. He can kind of do whatever the fuck he feels like, and and this is the thing that we'll see things from Luke probably every few years. He'll pump out a new book. He'll pump out this. He'll write for some things. He'll always open up things. You'll see him write for a few things. Be like, hey, I like games. My dad wrote my dad wrote things. But he turned out pretty well. Honest to God, those are really the only two winners of this story. And Gary Kahn pops up every now and again, but Gary Kahn has his own variety of issues. No, it's... Jesus Christ. I think that's his wife. God. It's fucking ripped. Jesus. How does he get away with it? Yeah, Luke came out probably the best of this entire thing. Valerian did pretty well. Now we watch after to like, Jesus. Hey man, fucking Lubu, you don't understand the masculine urge to appreciate a guy over 50 looking like he could fucking bench press a car. Like, so did Wizard of the Coast win the TSR law school? Is that what's going on? No, Wizards didn't win anything. It's hard to say you won a lawsuit when the other company kills itself. Why in the Midwest the whole thing about anti-intellectual? There's a very long story about that, not answering it tonight. This is a massive money sink for everyone. Yeah, they won. It's kind of like one of those things, like nobody won this duel except the other person killed themselves. It's like, yeah, I guess I won. Most likely the lawsuit will continue because I believe at the current state, the lawsuit is in flux till next year. Because one of the companies is going fucking bankrupt. Because of the legal fees. Yeah, exactly. Like, who really won in this situation? Like, nothing's gonna happen to Lanasa. I don't think anything's gonna happen to Lanasa. I don't think Wizards is gonna change its ways. I'll be curious to see what the IP changes. I don't think anything's going to change. But yeah, it's going to be kind of a longer video. The fuck would happen to Lanasa? They'll just sue him. That'd be my guess. They just sue him. Oh, he isn't just a lobbyist. He works in the defense industry and he has a tattoo empire. Or more accurately, hepatitis centers, according to a variety of people. Didn't someone try to publish Dark Sun with new TSR or something? I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to do something like that. Is the Dark Sun license, like Dark Sun still belongs. pretty firmly in... Yeah, like... Yeah. Like, if I believe correctly, it is still very much in a weird state. Let me see. 4th edition. Yeah, mentioned developers 5th edition. There was talking back of the Mystic class. Like, Merle's noted, Wizards decided not to release Mython because the class would be needed until we do Dark Sun. Dark Sun's coming one day, but not real. Dark Sun's never gonna come out. That's what they're here. They would not. Felix streams about that, so I'll ask you, John, have you looked at the Mythic system? Thank you for Halo TTRPG. The Halo TTRPG I wanted to go over, but my eyes fucking hurt anytime I read it. So I hope there's another version out there, because my eyes burning, everything hurt. Ow, yes. As for how did the marathon game is 95% done. I'm just PDFing everything, and that's just taking time. A lot of time, just because I was having some trouble kind of fitting everything in, but everything has been fitted in. Darksun deserves to die. I mean, that is the most loving and kind way for the world can ever be uttered. You want to put old Yeller down? No, Pat, it's coming out for 5e. Same with Planescape. Of course it is. And you know what? Of course it is. And Lorraine Williams has been justified yet again. Almost 6 point done. If you want to check out the guy's Patreon, all the stuff is free. The issue I had with Mythic was that it had like this god-awful fucking background that was just really hard for me to read. And it's like, it's kind of like one of those things like, hello, here I am. My eyes are on fire. It's like, I would like to go over it. It's just, I wish there was a different version of it to look different. Is there? I don't know. I'll have to check when 6.0 comes out. I'll check. I'm actually in the Mythic Discord. Because I was going to go over it for a franchise game case and just never really panned out. It's like being flashbanged by Discord's light theme. No, it's like a weird gray color, and it's just hard to read. To me, anyway, it's very hard to read. And I'm like, I could strain my eyes and do it, but I'm also like wanting to see the future. So again, I'll check it. I'll check it out again. There probably is a version that I can read for this fine. I just haven't found it because I'm an idiot. Let's see. Though, if we do the Halo game, this is the thing, Spartan, this is very important. If we do the Halo game, I will most likely just be consulting my very close friend who fucking loves Halo. And if you are on VR chat and ever see a Spartan running around, there's a non-zero chance it's one of his Spartans. Because that's what he does. He makes Spartan skins for VR chat. God, looking at the picture of Bone Cancel is actually here at TSR history, the current court case. I know of him. Do you know Slenzip? Feel good? That's his name. Slenzip. If you know cursed Halo fucking skins on VR chat, that's my boy. Tayo doxing his best buddy. Slenzip pops in here all the time. This is an important thing. He pops in here all the time. He raids me a bunch. And it always throws me for a fucking loop. Yeah, no. I know him. We went to high school together. He's a very good friend of mine. Actually, God, we were in middle school together. It's been that long. I've known him for over. God, how long is it? God, fucking damn. How long have I? I've known him for God almost 15. About 12 years. About 12, 13 years now. I've known him. Like as like friends. About 12. 12, 13 years. Yeah, if you see Slenzip, say Notepad said hello. Everyone make sure to, he also streams. Let me check if my boy Slenzip is fucking streaming. Can we raid him? We can't raid him, but I would if I knew how. But yes, I will bail. Godspeed, good luck. I'm gonna make dinner now. What's dinner? I don't know, but we're gonna do dinner and something. Godspeed, good luck. He has threatened to make a Spartan avatar of me. I keep asking him, be like, hey, just make a Notepad add-on, it'll be great. But yes. But yeah, no. Slenzip's a good, very good friend of mine. Have I ever played Halo? No. That's the funny part.